Namaste, angels. This is the weekly love reading for the period of Sunday, January 10th through Saturday to come, January 16th. We're beginning with cocktail, romantic dinner, and try again. Spirit says, try again still. And that could definitely be with regard to a relationship or a means of contact, or maybe to apologize, or maybe to bring yourself to accept somebody's apology, or, any number of things. If at first you don't succeed, try again. Also, weekend away. Nice. And spend money. Now, in the general reading, there was some concerns in the area of work and or money. If I had to base it on the general reading, I'm going to say that it suggests that we probably should not put love and relationship above work and finance, or basically, well, maybe that's taking it too far. It warned against like rushing through a relationship. It's like you finally decided what you want to do with regard to a relationship. Maybe like you finally said, that's it, I'm tired of being single. This is the week that I'm gonna go out there. So yeah, it definitely guides you to do that. Go ahead and get out there. But if you meet somebody, don't necessarily be trying to rush to the wedding chapel with them. This is not the week for that kind of thing. So some of us may want to have more of a focus on our finances, our work, rather than getting too caught up in love or relationship. Or if you find yourself getting too caught up in love and relationship, maybe you want to distract yourself with your work and your finances. But the Queen of Cups is the card with which we're starting. So, how easy is it to just fall when she's here? Very easy. She could be a direct water sign, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, or someone like into those traits or attributes. Most directly, Scorpio, being the queen, right? That she's attached to the fixed sign. And she's a super awesome omen when it comes to love. If you're single, it definitely means go ahead and get out there and mingle. It also means that this is a real easy time to like get ahead of yourself and do way too much, and maybe move way too fast and all of that kind of stuff, which sometimes can be great. But again, the general reading, if it has anything to do with it, warns against that this week. So I'm going to suggest that if you find yourself sort of wanting to move super fast, especially if that's uncharacteristic of you, slow it down a little bit. Just be mindful of the fact that when she's around, we can easily get ahead of ourselves as it relates to love. And if you're already in a relationship and you've been concerned as to whether your partner still feels the same way about you as you do about them, or if your relationship's in trouble, just because maybe you haven't been able to see them or something, maybe that's what she's representing. She can be about being like emotional too. For some of us, that may be the case. The Ten of Cups shows up to say everything's fine in the relationship. You're tripping, actually. All right, so I'm going to throw her in here. Did I throw her on top of the king? I sure did. Isn't that something? Interesting. So it's telling us, first of all, this is definitely a love relationship, a love reading. We now have the king and queen together. Also a Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, or someone like it, to those traits or attributes. Also an amazing omen when it relates to love. And he is that balanced energy I was talking about. Maybe that's why this has happened. So like I said, she can get ahead of herself. The King of Cups is the one that represents a more balanced energy, and somebody who has their their masculine and their feminine energies in harmony, and they're not afraid to show some emotion, but at the same time they're not watering all over themselves either. It's in balance. It makes sense. So they can share, they can be soft, but then they have their hard parts too, and they meet somewhere in the middle in a very healthy way. But we have this King of Cups. It may be some sort of offer that is related to finances or assets, as in cohabitation, or maybe he wants to be generous with us in some way, take us out to dinner, that weekend away, all those sorts of things. Or this can be us single, in terms of like, again, falling in love with our work and ourselves and who we are and what we bring to the table, what we have to offer, and knowing our worth. These cards can represent all of that too. All right. Let's get back to shuffling. I'll just do a couple of these. We have the sun there. That can be about vacation or weekend away too, or need for a break, either alone or with your partner, or from your partner maybe. There's the King of Cups again. So maybe this will be the last one. And we'll cut now. Oh, goodness. Major Arcana card 16, the Tower. And behind it is Major Arcana card 20, Judgment. This is some really heavy energy, really strong. But Judgment is one of my most favorite cards. To me, it's positive, and it is about abundance that is earned. So positive things that are coming to us. Specific to relationships, it can be about a crossroad that we're coming to and needing to decide, like, where do we go from here, what's up, whether that's on our own as a single person, like what am I doing with my life, or it's as a couple, we're trying to figure something out, or two people, whatever. It can be tied to try again, because Judgment can also be about second chances, second time around, whether it's in love or any other aspect of your life, but we're focusing on love here. And the Tower can be about something that's happening unexpectedly. So maybe you never expected to get back together with somebody, to have a second chance. The Tower could be bringing you that. The Tower can be about actual tower, structure, home. It can be about cohabitation, live with me, marry me, be with me. That could be unexpected. Even though it looks, scary. Actually, I named the general reading something like it may seem scary, but it's necessary. So that energy could be following us. Let me pull 4 cards, and we'll get more into that in a second. So I'm going to pull one for each element, beginning with fire: Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. And it is your energy. It's the 5 of Wands, or 5 of Fire, in reverse. Earth is next: Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. And you guys got that 10 of Cups in reverse. So maybe some of you have been concerned about your relationships. There is no need. My fellow air signs. I don't know why I get stuck every week. I forget us for a second. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. 2 of Cups in reverse. And last but not least, water: Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. The Empress upright. Very nice. All right, everything in frame. All right, let me go back to the Judgment and Tower before I forget what I was wanting to say about them before. So this can also be about like a lack of judgment, because you want to have fun, you want to do something exciting. And with the Pentacles, this is a positive Pentacles though. Before we had the Knight of Pentacles with it. 5 of Pentacles in reverse is like coming out of a difficult time. So that's positive, which I like to see more than what I was thinking it might be. I'm still going to mention it though, since I thought about it, because I'm sure it applies to somebody. And that can prevent them from getting into something. This is also positive about like moving forward, moving on, the worst being behind you. So maybe there had been a time when you were recently, it could be tied to money, again, work, or maybe holding back in some sort of fear about relationships, possibly because of a previous bad one. concerns about fear. The Five of Pentacles is a card of fear. Fear of missing out on something, fear of when it comes to relationships, like fear of abandonment, fear of rejection, sometimes fear of commitment. All these things can prevent you from ending up in the relationship in which you have an opportunity to be in. And tied to these two cards, if it is these two cards together, can give a meaning of like we have fun, but at the expense of something. So let's say it has to do with Pentacles. It's like, no, I have to work. I can't hang out. Or I can't go out today. And you do anyway, and then it costs you. Oh, well, the boss tells you, I'm going to dock you, whatever, for the day. So you had a good time, but, maybe that wasn't the best judgment because it cost me, like in another area. That can be what these two cards are about. They can also talk about insurance. It can be a good time to get like insurance. And then insurance, in terms of a relationship, can be about deepening the commitment, right? Like getting engaged, getting married. I'm going to secure this deal. I'm going to protect it. Again, it might be tied to a house. So it could be like homeowners insurance. Let's move in. Let's cohabitate. And maybe this is unexpected or very sudden, like being proposed to or something very suddenly. Possibly by somebody you didn't expect to do that. All right, so the Five of Wands in reverse. I've always read the Five of Wands as being, if it's not about yourself being conflicted, then it's about conflict. Like with the Five of Swords, for example, can be like conflict with anybody. Stranger on the street, they step on your foot. We got a conflict now. We got beef, right? But we otherwise have no connection. I always felt like stronger about the Five of Wands. Like if it wasn't yourself being conflicted, then it was close friends and or family or it was work. Something going on there. So where it is about conflict with close friends or maybe love interests, or mates, or some of us may consider that family. In love, this is a good conflict to have. It's like finally bringing up stuff that we probably should have talked about a long time ago. We've been sweeping under the rug. And so maybe it blows up for some of us. That can be what this tower is about. And it's like a make or break time. Like we talk about this now, we get it out in the open, we fix this, or we don't. And we end a relationship, perhaps. The tower doesn't have to necessarily mean, definitely the end of a relationship. At least not the way I read it. But it at least means if it is about like a warning about a relationship, it means that we need to communicate, we need to talk this thing out, and that's definitely what this is about. So something maybe coming up, maybe we should have addressed it a long time ago. In fact, not maybe, that's the likelihood that it's probably been something that we've been needed to talk about and we didn't, and now like it's now or never. It's make or break. It's move it or lose it. But we're going to find that this, rather than bringing us apart, really has a good potential to bring us closer together. Like, okay, I'm so glad we got those things out. We got past those things. We figured out how to work through them. Now let's move on with our relationship. And maybe it is attached to somebody's fears, again, of abandonment, of commitment, of rejection, some mommy issues, some daddy issues, something they never, whatever they experienced in childhood, some kind of trauma, and they have to talk about it. And if they do, then there's a chance to work this out. They continue to keep it bottled up and, to not share, then yeah, we can continue to have a problem. So I gave you some meanings of the Ten of Cups already, moving on to the earth signs. And another meaning can be being overly focused on like an ex or something. Thinking too much, focusing too much about the one that got away. And I talked about this in a way in the general reading. about like moving forward with one person, even though there is somebody in our heart. I said some people go on, they even go all the way, they get married even. And you know, knowing full well and not sharing it with their love interest or, you know, later husband, wife, whatever, that they still, like, as they say, hold a torch, hold a kit for this other person. There can be something like that happening with some earth signs. And so this card is saying be in the here and now, whatever that means, really. So, like, if the here and now for you is with this person from the past, like if you just can't move on from it, then you have to be honest with the person that's in your present. And maybe it's involving a fire energy, and it gets into some of this thing we got to talk about, and or, you know, the tower, which is, you know, maybe the tower is tied to fire energy too. um and I got to be honest about this thing, and we can move on one way or another, you know, with the energy of judgment. So it'll be a win-win for us both when this thing is out in the open. Alternatively, rather than deciding the person from the past is should be here in the here and now, you know, you got to consider, or some people got to consider, the fact that they should not be risking a good relationship or a good opportunity to have a good relationship, you know, with somebody new, or somebody that's in their life already, you know, at the expense of this ghost. So, like I said, using poor judgment and focusing maybe on something old that you don't really want anymore. Maybe you're just still thinking about the fantasy of it all, and you could lose the person that you're with, or that you're interested in, or that's interested in you, because, you know, basically you're being foolish, and you know, you're just too wrapped up in the one that got away. For single people, it can be similar. It's like, you know, focusing on like an image or a ghost. And I've been talking about this a lot lately. These same energies keep popping up week after week for like the past 3 or 4 weeks. Um, and for some of you, it's a literal, well, almost literal ghost or spirit. It can definitely be somebody who's passed on, um, that maybe was a soulmate that is deceased, or is otherwise, you know, removed from your life, but there's an energetic connection still, and you're like holding on to this person for dear life, and you need to let that energy go. That reminds me, I didn't do the singles for here. So the Five of Wands in reverse, for those of you who are single, can say that if there's somebody that you're interested in, maybe that you've even been dealing with. Remember I said, like, the general reading said this is not the week to move forward or to like push to move forward. This can be talking to you guys, for this reason. Somebody you're interested in or you're dealing with, and it doesn't seem, the relationship doesn't seem to be moving forward the way that you would want to, at the speed that you would want, or how you would want, deepening the way you would want. And it's because the other person, like, yeah, isn't at your speed, or doesn't seem to be with you on that. No, this card shows up to say to you that you need to know that their like hesitance, their reluctance, first of all, could be tied, you know, to this kind of energy. But more importantly, probably has way more to do with them than you. It may not have anything to do with you. And you may be, oh, they're not interested in me. They just may have something else going on in their life. And like right now, with the pandemic, even if you don't have COVID, let's say you have some other medical condition, or you end up in a need for medical treatment or to go to the ER. Does anybody want to do that these days? Like, that's backed up. So if you're ill, your family's ill. So just thinking in terms of the other person. Or there could be any number of financial situations and things that they're going through, because companies are closing, people are being laid off, people are losing their jobs completely, people are being put on furlough, like all people are getting reductions in pay. people were expecting $1,200 in stimulus and it got cut to $600. Well, people were expecting $2,000. It was almost here, almost within grasp, and that got snatched back and it got changed to $600. And then the government took people's checks and sent them to TurboTax instead of to them. This is what happened to my girlfriend. So there's all this kind of stuff, and that may be, those things may be what a person has on their mind and what they're dealing with. So the fact that they didn't call you, it has to do with that, not with you. Now, what is within your control and is your decision is if you want to wait around for them to be, experiencing better energy. Do you want to wait around for that to be behind them so that, they can move forward with you? If you're impatient and you feel like you can't wait, then, you have every right to do something else and move forward and maybe end it so that you can move forward. But if you really are interested in them and, willing to wait, then that's what you should do. All right, moving on to myself and my fellow air signs, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, the Two of Cups in reverse. So I touched on this kind of energy too. The Two of Cups in reverse for love talks about just being so wrapped up in love, possibly to the like exclusion or suffering at the expense of other areas in your life. So like maybe like we talked about work and stuff, blowing off work to maybe go on weekend away and maybe, have a great time on weekend away, but come home and find out you're fired or something like that. Not smart, right? Poor judgment. And that can be whether you're single or in a relationship, right? If you're single, you could be focusing too much on love and relationship, like when am I going to have one, or why don't I have one? Or you're just caught up in all of that to the exclusion of other important things in your life. Or if you're in a relationship already, you can just be so caught up in the idea of the relationship or the relationship itself or both that, to the exclusion of and detriment of other things in your life too. And that can be tied to the Tower and Judgment as well. Also, if you're in a relationship, maybe more positively, this card says that like if we've been having problems, this is a good time, to maybe just set them aside and forgive and forget and decide to, start fresh and move on. So that may be unexpected and tied to Judgment as well. Like realizing we're in this place, we want to be together, we're causing that harm if we keep harboring these old things. So let's clean slate, new year, new us, and start out all fresh. And again, last but not least, the water signs. Your card is Major Arcana card 3, the Empress, which represents the planet Venus and the signs of Taurus, Libra, and Gemini. She is sexy, 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 and can be about the energy of physicality, sexual energy, as it relates to love, really getting it in this weekend, maybe again, weekend away, who knows. And we could be learning that we're pregnant. We could be giving birth this weekend for already pregnant. This is a good time to work on getting pregnant if we're interested in that, and especially if we've had difficulty other times, this is a good week to try. Beyond that, whether you're single or coupled, you could find yourself being like the apple of a lot of people's eye. Find yourself with a lot of suitors. You're very attractive to other people in various ways this week, but this is the love reading, so in a romantic way certainly too. And if you're single and looking, love can definitely come your way this week. As a matter of fact, if you're single and not looking, love can definitely come your way this week because again, you are super attractive. So we're going to add a few more cards to this from, let's do the fortune teller cards first. I have the other tarot cards ready to use too, but let's take a look at these, beginning with Dragonfly. Have confidence during this time of great joy, renewal, and connection to spirit. That may be what the Tower is about as well. Behind it is the Chariot, so another card of positively moving forward. In fact, it says, charge ahead with confidence. Stay strong and focused. And the next card is in reverse. It is Wish. So we'll shuffle a little bit. First opening to Mountain. Know that you're protected as you face challenges, but remain cautious. World. Be open to new possibilities in all areas of your life. Also, this can be about the fresh start, the new slate, like we've ended a cycle, so now a new beginning. Judgment. Soul searching will bring inner peace to many areas of your life. So that's our second Judgment card for the reading. Thorns. Weathering the challenges ahead will bring in a new and positive future. Oop. All right, Eagle. You will soar towards your destiny with greater clarity and strength. And Star. Hard times are over. Look forward to an abundance of happiness, enthusiasm, and positivity. And lastly, Sun. Open your heart to the enormous growth ahead. I'll shuffle one more time and then I'll cut. It's Eagle again. Plane. A journey is indicated, either physically or metaphorically. Your life will become more full. I was thinking about that earlier, but I don't think I said it. About like, depending upon, when I said this is good, this is going to be positive, and I'm thinking like, well, depending upon how you look at it. If you look at your cup as being full or half full, then yes, it'll be positive for you. If you look at your cup as being half empty, then it won't. Anyway. I'm going to pull 4 cards again. So this first one is for the fire signs, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. It is Eagle again. You will soar towards your destiny with greater clarity and strength. So maybe some of you were confused about that energy that's surrounding you, and I just gave you the clarity. That's one of the things that just came to me. Like you didn't understand how to deal with that 5 of Wands, and now you know. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. The world is back for you. Be open to new possibilities in all areas of your life. So yeah, that new possibility can be clean slate and moving forward with your partner that you currently have, or being single and deciding to go out there and mingle and meet somebody new. Rather than clinging to somebody or, an image in your mind or somebody from your past or something. Or clean slate can be starting new with, somebody from your past. Judgment, we've seen Judgment twice now, right? We've had 2 Judgment cards in the spread. Judgment can be about second chances, a second time around. So somebody, and maybe it's come back around. You got the World. The opportunities come back around to be with somebody from your past. That's another new possibility that you should be open to. Air signs, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Our card is Sun. Open your heart to the enormous growth ahead. Sounds like more lessons, am I right? And water, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Oh, yeah, very appropriate. Your card is Death. A time of natural transition and transformation. This is super Scorpio, right? Major Arcana card Death represents the sign of Scorpio, and Scorpio is the sign of transformation and transition. And that too is about allowing something to end and maybe to be released from something that is no longer for you, that is a ghost in your life, so that you can get something new. That's what death is about also. All right, so got another set of cards here. You know what? I want to do something different with these. I'm going to put these here. I'm going to take these away. From the perspective of love, I want to do a crossbreed. We're beginning with another King of Cups. He is warm-hearted, devoted, loving, and faithful. A trustworthy person or relationship enters your life. You may receive wise and compassionate advice from someone who speaks directly from the heart. But there's a possibility of missing out on that opportunity, robbing ourselves of it. Caution will help you to avoid the loss of valuables, though, including non-material resources such as time or peace of mind or love. Be aware of the results of your actions as well as what others might be doing behind your back. Here's that boost of energy to maybe boost your confidence too and your self-esteem so that you don't miss an opportunity. You get out there and go after it. You've worked hard and what you've created is impressive and worthy of protecting. Annoying challenges may pop up, but don't worry, you'll get through them just as you have in the past. And it's funny because we have a Two of Swords here that is in reverse, which is what was the case in the general reading. In the position of love and relationship, it was the Two of Swords in reverse. And that was the card that led me to say, this might not be the week that you want to like push and force anything. All right. Major Arcana Card 5, Unity, or the Hierophant. Traditional viewpoints or methods. Spiritual organizations. Seek out mentors and like-minded friends. The Hierophant represents the sign of Taurus. I think that may be the reason why it's here. I didn't mention, but Uranus, which is located in Taurus and has been for a long time and will be for a long time, has been retrograde for a while now. It goes direct in Taurus this week. So I think that's why we've picked up on so much Taurus energy. This can be about spiritually based relationships, right? People that are on your vibe, your wavelength, or have a greater vibration than your own, from whom you can learn something. It can be about breaking with tradition, doing your own thing, or upright, the opposite of that, keeping with tradition, doing things the way they're meant to be done in that order. So to speak. But like I said, I'm going to do a crossbreed. So this will be for singles, couples, however you want to look at it, individuals or partnered, or people that are partnered. And guess what? We're starting with, again, the Tower. Important changes are coming to your life that will require you to take action. Don't hesitate to move in new directions that you know are right for you. So some sort of sudden change could come our way this week, individuals or couples. So this is the card for divine being or couple. Recent past, Seven of Wands. This is the card that clarified the Two of Swords in the general reading. I think there was a Seven of Wands. Be assertive, believe in yourself, and don't let anyone take away your personal power. Trust that your inner guidance is true and follow it completely. So if you made a decision about your love life, how you want to live it, whatever it is you're doing, even if it's unexpected, it's breaking with tradition, it's not what anybody else would have you do, you're sticking to that, right? Standing your ground, not necessarily fighting with everybody about it. And if you change your mind, allowing it to be because you changed your mind, not because some sort of external force, got you to bend to their will. That's what this card is about. Near future. Very nice. The Six of Wands. This is a card of success, victory, happiness, promotion. increase, abundance. You may receive a promotion, be chosen for a scholarship, or find that you're singled out for special recognition. You've done an amazing job and you deserve all the attention. Masculine higher self. The Emperor. Structure and organization are important right now. Don't be afraid to take on a leadership role as you have much wisdom to offer. So the Emperor most directly represents the planet Mars and the signs of Aries and Scorpio, which Mars rules. In the general reading, a King of Wands showed up. And I said that I felt that it was tied to like spiritual energy, and it was about an awakening and masculine realizing like who he was in that dynamic, as the King of Wands is, the quintessential divine masculine of the tarot. And so that can definitely be what this is representing as well, especially since the Hierophant is our overall energy. This too is a very spiritual card, but other meanings of the Emperor specific to love is like becoming involved with somebody who is older than you, or maybe you are older or more mature, whether that is by age or spiritually more mature, emotionally more mature. So maybe you have a higher vibration. Again, the other person has a lower vibration than your own, but you maybe can teach them something. And I need to be able to learn from a man that I'm in a relationship with. Like if he doesn't have anything if I can't learn anything from him, I'm not interested. And that's probably because I'm a Gemini. Like we're so inquisitive and stuff and curious. But we should be able to have something to offer to people other than like these tangible things, right? So to give of ourselves like in an emotional way or spiritual way to help other people to grow. So that can be what this is about. Emperor is often, for me, also like a widower, divorcee, or a man with children, a married man. Again, somebody who's mature, is secure, stable, got themselves together. Or maybe he's just an Aries, or maybe he's just a Scorpio. Those are possible too. Can be somebody that's like authoritarian and overbearing too. Might be somebody's boss. Talked about getting connected to people at work or through work in the general too, because the Three of Pentacles kept popping up. So those are all possibilities. Blocks to individual or shared progress. What's keeping us from moving forward? And it's the indecisiveness. So again, like I mentioned, the Two of Swords was the card that showed up in love and relationship in the general reading. And here it is again. Being unable or unwilling to make a decision. A stalemate, pretending there's no problem. So here's the thing about the Two of Swords. Or when it showed up, I used the Rider-Waite in the other reading, and it showed up in reverse. So the Two of Swords in reverse, what I was saying was, the Two of Swords is about indecision. But the way that I pick it up, whether it's upright or in reverse, you have made a decision. You know what you want your decision to be, what's in your heart to do. You might not do it because of your fears that are preventing you from doing it, what other people might say or think or do, what society dictates or whatever, breaking with tradition and all that kind of stuff. So you might not actually do it, but you do know what you want to do. So just to avoid the whole thing, you avoid the whole thing, right? I'm just not going to pick anything. I'm just going to let it be in limbo for as long as I can. I'd rather just not address it. Let's pretend it doesn't exist. Let's pretend I don't see it. So that's what the Two of Swords is. As long as you're doing that and not making a decision and then sticking by it and standing your ground and defending yourself, then that's the challenge you're in. You're sort of in this limbo place in between what you want and what you at least think other people want for you, that doesn't align with what's in your heart to do for yourself. And that may be what this tower is about, or where we're finding we're at. Like something's got to give now. What the feminine can do to help herself with regard to that kind of block. And it is Six of Cups. Memories from your history or childhood. Issues regarding children. Romanticizing the past. Address that ghost. Whether that means getting back together with an ex, or addressing something from your childhood or your past you have to deal with and release in order for you to move on and go forward. That's what you got to do, feminine. Six of Cups is a card of nostalgia. It's also, for me, like connected to siblings and family, and could be from our childhood or just any time in our past, things that we're still holding on to. And the idea is, yes, it's nice to think back, and we should think back and, hold our memories dear, but the idea is to not get caught up or stuck in the past, to the point that we're like living there. That's what we want to try to avoid. Or that we're thinking that like we kind of don't have a future, like, oh, like my best years are behind me and all that kind of stuff. If you say that, then you're sort of setting yourself up for like a self-fulfilling prophecy that there's nothing positive lies ahead. You're like manifesting negativity into your own life. So you got to work on severing that cord. What the masculine can do to help himself. And it is the Page of Pentacles. Scholarly, dependable, patient, and successful. Good news about financial matters. Wanting to do something more challenging and a new area of study. So it could be those things, like in a very literal sense, straightforward, taking the card, what it says on it as the meaning. For some of you, maybe just that. Like a decision could be to go back to school or to change jobs, that's been blocking you. And if you do that, then that can open up possibilities in your love life. Alternatively, though, the Page of Pentacles, specific to love and relationship, is really about, it's not really a sexy card. It's about being bored as hell with your relationship and wanting out of it. So for some of you, it's about needing to address that. On a totally other note, it could just have something to do with an earth sign. An earth sign can be particularly significant. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, or someone like into those traits or attributes. What the universe would have us do, and even wants to help us with, but we have to first affirm because we have free will to help ourselves. And that is the Page of Swords. Logical, honest, impulsive, and curious. Challenging information. Delays or changes to plans, and truth delivered without tact. Communication could be what the universe wants to help us with and do, or clarity, coming into information, sharing information with others, giving them clarity, communicating with them, being honest with other people. Even if we have to say it bluntly, even if they don't like what they're hearing, it's helpful information. You need to know this, even if you'd rather not. And the outcome here. Four of Pentacles, being too frivolous or too cautious with money, good business decisions, and giving to those less fortunate. So those of you who watch my channel, for me, particularly in love, the Four of Pentacles has nothing to do with any of that. It is about letting go. But it's about the fact that we've not only not let go, but we've held on to stuff just like kind of like for the sake of holding on to it. Like I do compare it or explain it through that feeling of keeping a job, staying in a job where you're miserable because I get a paycheck, as if you don't get a paycheck at any job. You get a paycheck, so I might as well stay there, and they're mistreating you and it's horrible, but that's why you stay. Similarly, we can do that with relationships, Yeah, the love is gone. I'm bored as hell. I'm not interested in this person. In fact, I can't get my mind off the past. But, I'm a married man, so I'm stuck. I got to stay in this thing. No, that's not really true. We got kids together, so I got to be in this. No, that's not really true either. I mean, when people are unhappy, you do yourself and the other person a disservice if by staying just for the sake of something, sometimes people have to experience a tower, and it has to crumble apart so that each person can rebuild a better and more positive life and live their purpose and be where they belong. I'm going to just give us a couple of extra messages though with these cards. The Tower, the Page of Swords, and that Four of Pentacles. And I like to clarify with upright cards. So I was just giving you the order. So this one will be for the Tower. And it is the Queen of Wands. She is talented, brilliant, independent, and charming. Don't underestimate your ability to manifest your dreams. Didn't I just talk about with this the potential to manifest negativity? No, you don't want to do that. Instead, you can manifest your dreams. You may have several priorities vying for your attention at once, but you can do it. The Queen of Wands, if it's an actual person in your life that helps you out with this stuff, is potentially a direct fire sign, an Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. Page of Swords. The Sun, so it is about clarity, right? Information that's coming to us that is helpful. Something, the light is being, what's done in the dark comes to light, right? We're getting some sort of growth from information or clarity and understanding. Your plans will work out well, bringing you happiness, prosperity, and success. You'll garner the recognition for your accomplishments that you so richly deserve. Also, this is about a happy ending, like things working out well. Go ahead and have that communication. Even if it's tough, it's for the best. And lastly, the Four of Pentacles. Just looking for the next upright card. Here it is. And it is the Moon. It's important to trust your intuition, even if you're unsure of what's happening. All will be revealed soon, so worry is unnecessary. So what this is saying is if you're being guided to let something go or to move on or to do anything, to pay attention to your intuition, to you're having instincts, you're having gut feelings about a situation, about something, you don't trust this or you do trust, like go with it even if you don't understand why, because you're going to be shown why. You're going to get the information, you're going to get the clarity when the universe is ready for you to have that. But I'll pull another one for that last ending too, and look what it is. It's another Four of Pentacles. That's what the universe, that's what they do to me, my guides and stuff, when they want me to cut it out. It's like, we're not going to give you any more information. You're getting the Four of Pentacles, the Moon, and the Four of Pentacles, which means we're not expounding. Be cautious about living a life of extremes or seeing things in black and white terms. Consider, for example, whether you're spending too much versus hoarding your wealth, or giving too much emotionally versus building up walls that keep people out. I hope you guys have enjoyed this week's love reading. I'll be back with a moon reading and a bunch of client readings this week. And there's some other stuff I'd like to do, but that's I have a feeling I'm probably gonna be maxed out after that for the week. Please do like, share, subscribe, comment. I try to answer reply to every comment and answer every question that is left from me. And when you're subscribing, please hit both the subscribe button and the bell button so that hopefully you receive notifications of when I put up a new video. Namaste.